everybody. I'm out here picking my tomatoes. I thought I'd give you a quick garden tour. So over here are my tomatoes. Normally I have them trained in the cages a little better, but this year I let them take over the garden a little bit too much. I use these rebar mesh as cages, and they're held up by T-posts. They work really good. The tomatoes don't fall over. They get really tall and the tomatoes are happy. And over on this row, I had a bunch of cabbages. They've gone by for the year, and I had some lettuce in there. I still have some Swiss chard growing. Over behind the tomatoes, I planted butternut squash and pumpkins. The butternut squash, usually I train up this trellis, which is some cattle panels. This year, again, I didn't train it, so kind of everywhere, but my harvest is going to be good. I have lots of butternut squash growing, waiting for the frost to pick it. Make sure it's sweet this year. Over inside my trellis, on that end, I had cucumbers. They just yielded their last crop for the year. They're done. On this final row here, it was all zucchini and yellow squash, but along with the pumpkins, I had a squash boring bug that killed those off a little earlier than normal. So I got a good harvest, but I didn't preserve much. On the end here are all my asparagus ferns. They go all the way down to that sunflower over there, a little past. I let them go to fern so that they grow better. We harvested asparagus until July 4th. And behind the asparagus is where I'll be planting my garlic come Halloween. This year I decided to practice some chaos gardening. I wasn't going to do a garden, but then decided it wouldn't hurt to plant and see what happened. I didn't do any watering. I didn't weed. I spent 4 hours on Mother's Day planting, and I got a beautiful harvest. So I thank God for the beautiful food we got this year. Because it was him and nature. And this is my asparagus bed, which in the spring I'll have to clean up a bit. Got about 1.5 bushels of tomatoes. A lot of them are green, but they'll ripen on my table in a couple days. Entertaining what you find when you decide to chaos garden. I planted thousands of mum seeds. I didn't think any came up, so I just found some. Hiding in all the weeds. So, entertaining. So here on the other side of my goat pen is my compost pile, which I'm showing you because it's growing more butternut squash than my garden. From last year's butternut squash I threw in the compost. I have at least 30 in here that are beautiful and huge. So we're gonna have a good harvest this year if the animals don't get to them first. And there's a bunch of tomato plants in there too. So over here I wanted to show you my orchard. This is the trellis we built for my kiwi. Next to it I'm planning on putting some grapes on another trellis. Had these for 2 years and the frost killed the fruit, so I haven't gotten any kiwi yet, but the plants are looking really healthy. So hopefully next year. And over here I have my apple trees and my peach trees. I did 2 Granny Smith apples, 2 early Macs, and 2 peach trees. I haven't gotten any apples yet, but the peaches gave me 40 peaches this year, so everything's looking nice and healthy. I'll have to remember to treat in the spring. We have a fungus rust on the leaves, but that's not really bad this year. All right. I plan on adding some more fruit. My thoughts are maybe some mulberries, maybe some plums. So that'll be next spring if I do it. I definitely want some blueberries as well. All right, thank you for joining me. That's the tour of my garden and orchard this year.